While the Rams 2023 draft class has already shown quite a bit going into week 3, and most notably the emergence of Puka Nacua, one cannot forget to mention Byron Young, who is rocking number 0, only the second player in Rams history to do so. Before we dive into this video, be sure to like, subscribe, and drop a comment, so let's have a discussion about it. But I'm calling him Agent Zero. I've been calling him Agent Zero because the way Byron Young is playing is just so impressive to see. Now, the Rams are definitely going to need to go at least before or during the trade deadline, go out and acquire another talented pass rusher to bolster this defense and help out the secondary as well as Aaron Donald. But right now, Byron Young is leading the pack, not only on the Rams with 9 pressures, that's including Aaron Donald, but he's also leading all rookies at the position with pressures. He has 9. There are a bunch of guys there, Lucas Van Ness, and of course, Will Anderson, the 3rd overall pick, that he is outperforming. Now, here's the problem with him going into it. I just want to be very transparent here. His win rate is not on the level of the others. However, I feel like he is getting better each week. That is going to go up, and I will take his 9 pressures or 8 pressures through the first 2 games all day. I think the thing that is really intriguing about Byron Young is the fact that he doesn't have a running mate on the other side of him like a Von Miller or a Leonard Floyd. What he's doing right now is with Michael Hoyt, is with Zach Van Valkenburg, or occasional Nick Hampton. Now, you could say all you want the Aaron Donald effect, but I don't think you can take away everything that Byron Young has done in the first 2 weeks. Young has 2 sacks. Young has put pressure on the quarterback with 8. Young is really interesting here because what we also see is that he's one of the best tackling linebackers out there on the outside. PFF graded him as the 3rd best tackling linebacker through the first 2 weeks. So this is somebody with his incredible 4.4 to borderline 4.3 speed. When you watch him on film, he can really get after it. He can go sideline to sideline. We've seen him. And I think this is really going to help him. The fact that he's around guys like Aaron Donald, the fact that he's around this type of coaching staff, he's in the Raheem Morris defense. So what does that mean for a guy like Byron Young? Is this guy looking at a potential 12.5 sack season like I thought before the season? And I would say yes, and maybe more. Here's the thing. Aaron Donald is still getting acclimated. You can say what you will. Aaron Donald did not play in the preseason, and he took a long time to come back because they held him out pretty much the last half of the season. So you could say he's still a little rusty, although he looks incredible. But the thing here that's important to remember is that Byron Young played 1 preseason game, and the Rams said, yep, that's it. That's all we needed. And we did not see him again. He has looked the part. He was a 3rd-round pick, not a 1st-round pick, and has more pressures than the 1st-round pick on Houston. It's something to be said. Now, does this mean that Byron Young is 100% a guarantee to become a superstar or anything like that? No, but it does show you that the Rams knew what they were doing when they selected him, and that athleticism is being put to use. Now moving forward against Joe Burrow potentially this Monday night, we're going to see the shot. He's going to be on primetime football, and America is going to get a chance to see what he can do. Now, I think with Byron Young, the issue has always been the toolbox. He's an older pass rusher that's a little raw, and he is going to have to get better in certain areas, but I think he's in the best fit for him right now. I love that they're starting him right away, not wasting any sort of time, and I'm very excited for how he's going to turn out. What can I expect moving forward? Well, I think there will be some bumps in the road. I do think going up against the 49ers defense 49ers offense was impressive. However, you do have to keep in mind that right side of the offensive line is definitely not their best. It's not their strong suit. You will have opportunities where you can move them all over the field. And I do think against Cincinnati, he could feast in that game. But what I'm going to be most interested in is when he goes up against a Dallas Cowboys offense, I believe week 8, when he's facing a Terrence Steele, who's become one of the better right tackles in football, or he's put against Tyron Smith. I think assignments like that are where you're going to start to see what this guy can be. obviously iron sharpens iron. He's been going against Alaric Jackson and Rob Havenstein in camp, and I think it's definitely bode well for him. But I'm really excited to see what they truly have when he's going up against those guys. I will say this. The thing that has stuck out to me on film, and I've said this during our all 22 film sessions, which, by the way, I'm dropping tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern time over on kick.com/jkbogan. You can check that out. Link is in the description. But while I've said that, the constant thing I've said was, look, I knew he had the speed. I knew he had the athleticism. But when he is bench pressing Charles Cross and eating his lunch, that is the type of stuff that gets me excited. So I haven't quite, dove into the all 22 because, one, it's not out yet, and two, I'm waiting until tomorrow to do that with you guys live. But I will say this, just from afar, just looking at the game, watching the game on Sunday and seeing the all 22 from the Seattle game, the Rams got a good one here, folks. They really did. You have to be a certified baller to wear a 0 number, and he is a certified baller. The thing that really brings me excitement is just the thought that you're going to have him for another 4 years. And then who knows? If he ends up working out, he's probably going to be around 28, 29 at the end of his contract because he is an older pass rusher. So we could see potentially an extension. We could see a short-term deal. We could see him move on. But either way, I think in the immediate to short-term future, you're going to see this guy excel. And it should make Rams fans very excited. They have guys like Nick Hampton, who they drafted in the 5th round, who are more projects, who they're excited about long-term. But a guy like Byron Young is somebody that can play right away. So when you say plug and play, he does enough to play right away and make an impact right away. So the way I see it, the Rams nailed this. That's going to be the constant theme here. Okay. The Rams nailed this draft. I really came out of this draft thinking it was an A+. Byron Young is no different. I really loved the pick at the time. I loved it even more after the fact and watching the film. And then, of course, now, you gotta love where this trajectory is going. And it may not go to the moon, but you have to understand that what he is doing right now is showing that he belongs, playing against 2 tough rival teams and getting sacks in both games, getting pressure on the quarterback, averaging 4 pressures a game. If you put that out to the rest of the season, that's going to be a pretty darn good year, no? So I do think that, yes, okay, you have to have some patience with a guy like this. Doesn't have the widest range of maneuvers, and he doesn't have the largest toolbox. But I think when you see his ability to use that length and just overall use that speed, I think that's what's impressive. But in addition to that, convert speed to power, which we saw against Charles Cross at the point of attack. That's something that really gets you hyped. So I don't think he is a fluke. I think he is, in fact, the real deal. And I think that in a draft where you end up with Puka Nacua, Trey Tomlinson for the future, and guys like Kobe Turner, and we're not even scratching the surface there because Steve Avila was incredible this past week. But when you have a draft where you've nailed on all those picks and then some, that's how you end up flipping the script. You can say what you will. They're not in a rebuild. I believe they were, but they're ahead of schedule, and that 49ers game proved it. And if you haven't been paying attention over the last 2 games, right now, it looks like Byron Young is also ahead of schedule. If you enjoyed this, be sure to like, subscribe, and be sure to comment. Also, share this with somebody that's interested. I'm going to be putting out more videos like this. I think just like quick hitter, isolated topic videos. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Later, folks.